Maestra Marta. So, today we are going to be focusing
Which are
very beautiful. Tell me, Marta, por favor.
Which are the effects, or which is the relation between yoga and mind?
Yes, which is the relation? Why, if we do yoga, is beneficial for the mind?
Okay, because yoga, one of the purposes of yoga is to stop the, es que no me sale en inglés, stop the movement of your mind, so to keep it, to maintain it steady.
Good. I like this definition.
¿Cómo se dice? Brita, no me sale.
Yoga Vritti Nirodha.
Esto, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, esto.
So let's go from the very beginning. We have different yoga traditions. This is very important to keep in mind. Hello, Anna.
Hi.
So we are talking about the relation of mind and yoga. Why, when we practice yoga, is beneficial for the mind. So we have different yoga traditions, and every tradition works in a different way. So we have some yoga traditions that goes straight to work with the physical body. We have another traditions that they go to work with the energetic body, with the chakras, with the nadis. We have another system of yoga that they go straight to work with the mind. And we have different systems that goes directly to the spirit, to the soul, to the essence. So all the yoga systems, they have something in common, and is that they want the best for all the human beings. So when we practice the different branches of yoga, we can heal ourselves in all the aspects. So during the last Yoga Fridays, we were working with different aspects, and today we are focusing with the mind. Yeah? So to support my words, we have very beautiful yogic text, which is called the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. The Yoga Sutras is 196 instructions that takes you from point A to point B. Point A, it means to be sick, stressed, worried, depressed, with anxiety, and so many other problems. Which is the point B? The point B is to have a happy life, a healthy life with a purpose, every day waking up and feeling this joy to be alive. So the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali are the vehicle that will take us from the point A to the point B. So this vehicle is full of strategies, full of tools, full of techniques that will help us to reach what we are looking for. So there is thousands, literally, of different tools and techniques, practice, breathing, visualization, meditation. We could be practicing for the rest of our life. So, as we cannot do everything in one Yoga Friday, we need to divide piece by piece. And today is focused on our minds. So Patanjali is telling us on the first Yoga Sutra, Hatha Yoga Anushasanam. So please everyone repeat after me. Hatha Yoga Anushasanam. Hatha Yoga Anushasanam.
Apa Yoga Anushasanam.
Exactly, and very important here to understand the difference between hatha and atta. Yeah, it's different things. So can someone tell me the meaning of Hatha Yoga Anushasanam? Eugenia, Marta, Ana, the meaning Hatha Yoga Anushasanam. So Patanjali give us one first instruction. Remember, we have 196 instructions of how to go from point A to point B. Yeah, the very, very first instruction is to become present. Here and now, the instructions on yoga begins. So let's go step by step. Patanjali, before anything, is telling us to be here and now. Yeah? So is everyone here and now, or are you thinking about something else, the dinner after the Yoga Fridays or some boyfriend? Everyone is here with me? Yes. Or is around the house walking around? Eh? So Patanjali is telling us before we can even start practicing yoga, we need to bring our mind to the present moment, to the here and now. So here, let me ask you something, and please be completely honest. If I ask you to be present from now during the next year, can you do it? Can you be completely present without thinking about the future, about the past? Can you do it? So everyone says no. I agree. Me also, I cannot do it. Even I cannot do it 1 week, and even not 1 day, and maybe not even 1 hour. So the natural tendency of the mind is to be thinking. And thinking, after we will see, manifest in different ways. So what Patanjali is telling us is that we need to bring the mind to the present. But how to do it? This is very important. Patanjali says here and now, therefore. So therefore means that there is some preliminaries, that we have been doing something in order to bring the mind to the present. So can someone tell me some of the preliminaries mentioned by Patanjali? Someone else? What should we do in order to bring the mind to the present moment?
Breathing techniques.
So Anna is telling us to breathe. Something else that we do? So the ones practice yoga, what do you do in order to bring your mind to the present? So Pratyahara. Very nice, Marta. So we have breathing, we have Pratyahara techniques. Something else? So let's go to the 4 main preliminaries of yoga to bring the mind to the present moment. So as we know, most of the human beings, we cannot bring the mind to the present that easy. We need some support. We need some tools. So Patanjali is giving us 4 main tools that are called Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Myanna Yoga, and Hatha Yoga. So let's go one by one. Which is the meaning of Bhakti Yoga? Susana, Bhakti Yoga.
Es el yoga que sale del corazón, no te lo pueden enseñar, es el de la entrega, el de la devoción, el de la confianza, el de ayuda.
Now in English, for you to practice, please.
Es de yoga who comes from your heart and your devotion to the God or the universe, and with the intention to give your heart.
Beautiful, the yoga of the heart. This yoga is very, very beautiful path, and it has many ways how it manifests. If we see the traditional way, the classic way, it was from devotion from disciple to guru. So that is the first form of Bhakti Yoga. If we have a guru, we practice with devotion, we serve our guru with devotion. So this, it was in the old times. Before, in order to practice yoga, we needed to have a guru. Remember how all the yoga was given from one generation to another? It was from guru to disciple, from guru to disciple. But this had changed. In the present times, the yoga is available to everyone that has a computer and telephone. You don't need anymore the guru. The information is there. Yeah? So now the way of practice the devotion is a little bit different. For that, we have amazing people and tradition I like a lot, the Hare Krishnas. So a few hundred years ago, we have very famous Hare Krishna that he started chanting the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this saint, one of the Goswamis, he realized that by repeating the Mahamantra, the mind becomes present and relaxed. So this saint start chanting Mahamantra in every place. All the traditional people, the more orthodox, start saying that this is not possible, that yoga is not for everyone, that it was just for special people with a guru. But Goswami says that yoga needs to be for everyone. And he start chanting and people start repeating. If you see Hare Krishnas, they go thousands of people singing, dancing, praying to the God, to the universe, to life. So right now, this is the method that is more practice. We have Bhajan and Kirtan. So we can say this is the two main Bhakti Yoga practice we have. And of course, the most powerful, if you find your guru or your guru finds you and we practice devotion into him, into her, that is the most powerful Bhakti Yoga ever. So who should practice Bhakti Yoga? As you know, there is different kind of personalities, different types of energy, different types of wishes, of desires. So if you pay attention, there are people that they are really, really connected with their emotional body. Some people, I will include myself, we are a little bit far from the emotional body. We find a little bit difficult to feel. That's why we should practice Bhakti Yoga to reinforce and to reconnect with these emotions. The emotions are part of our humanity and they are something beautiful. But we need to know how to channel our emotions. Many times the emotions can take you to paradise or to hell. So through the practice of Bhakti Yoga, we use our emotions for something positive. Imagine one day you are very angry or very sad, very disappointed. Something happens in your job. Everything is going wrong and you feel terrible. You feel very angry. Then you walk back home and you meet your husband or wife and start shouting to each other. And this happens because these emotions were too much inside of ourselves. We couldn't keep it anymore. So then we vomit to someone. As we know, this is not the way. It's okay to feel angry, it's okay to feel sad, but we need to know how to channel. One of the best ways is through Bhakti Yoga. So let's go to the second preliminary to bring the mind to the present moment, and it's called Myanna Yoga. Can someone tell me the meaning of Myanna? Marta, Susana, Ana? Myanna Yoga. Susana?
Is this, I don't know, yoga of the study of the philosophy of yoga, the study of the philosophy of yoga, or no? I don't know how to explain it. The yoga of the mind.
There is some philosophy into it, but Jnana Yoga is common known as the yoga of self-inquiry.
Wow.
What does self-inquiry means?
Who
To
I
ask
am.
yourself, who am I? Why I'm here? Which is my purpose in life? What I should do to serve others? To inquiry, how does my body works? How does my emotion works? Yeah?
Autoconocimiento.
So, exactly.
Self-study.
This is super important, especially in the present days. We go 1,000 kilometers per hour. Always we are doing. So if we never stop to look within, we cannot know ourselves. Imagine every day I wake up at the same time, I go to work, I see my family, I watch a little bit of television and I go to sleep. And the next day I wake up, go to work, visit the family, watch television and go to sleep. And like this, years and years and years continue happening. And it seems that the life is all what it's about. But the people that they take the time to simply sit, relax, observe their breath, meditate, they start finding that there are more things in life, that we are much more than what society told us. So very important for all yoga practitioners, in order to bring the mind to the present, to practice, to practice Jnana Yoga, the yoga of self-inquiry. And self-inquiry needs to be something continue, because a lot of people, they say, okay, I meditate for 1-3 years and I find out who I am. And maybe, yes, maybe they did it. But after, if you stop with the self-inquiry, we cannot keep with our evolution. Remember, every second we are evolving. We are not the same, not even than the one than yesterday. So maybe yesterday I find my purpose in life, but maybe today is different. So how will I know? Only if I sit and observe myself, connect with my breath, with my mind, with my thoughts, with my heart. So Jnana Yoga, a must to practice. And we go for the third. We have already Bhakti Yoga. Jnana Yoga, I was missing. For whom is recommended the practice of Jnana Yoga? Bhakti Yoga, we say people more emotional, and Jnana Yoga, which type of people?
More mental. More rational.
Good, intellectual people.
Yeah.
The people that they are too much in the mind, that they like to find out how the universe works, why there is day and night, what happens in the sky, why there is electricity. Like this kind of people that always try to find out the why behind. So we have third preliminary, very beautiful one. My favorite is called Karma Yoga. So here, please, Anna, tell us what does Karma Yoga means?
Karma yoga means providing service, no? So like cooking and gardening and cleaning, no?
Have you been in Om Shanti or what, Anna?
Yes,
They
please.
put you to clean and cook. So we can practice Karma Yoga when we clean and cook, but doesn't mean that every time that we cook and clean, we are doing Karma Yoga. So which is the difference?
Because you need to
When
be at the
I'm
present
doing
moment.
Karma Yoga when I cook,
Sorry,
repeat, Anna,
because then you
please.
need to be at the present moment of what you are doing and not just being thinking of whatever else.
So this is one condition, to be present, and another.
Doing,
No,
sorry,
no, tú.
do all things the best way you can and not expecting congratulations or not expecting the results, because you are doing that the best way you can.
Exactly, very nice. So we need to be present, to do it with efficient and not expecting anything in return. So here there is different traditions. I want to show you, let me see if I fit into the camera. So imagine that I go to practice Karma Yoga and they give me my broom to mop the floor, yeah? And I start brooming like this. Is this Karma Yoga or not? So this is something people get a little confused. If you go to a Zen monastery, they will make you to do the Karma Yoga super slow, yeah? To be focused. In the yoga tradition, is not like that. In yoga tradition, apart from being present, you need to be efficient. Imagine if I'm brooming like this, it will take me 1 week to clean the house. So I need to be efficient. I need to do my best. But at the same time, I need to find balance. If I do it too fast, then I cannot be present. I will make mistake. I will not clean properly. So whatever we do during our day can be the practice of Karma Yoga. So for example, in the morning when you wake up and go to brush your teeth, if you do it with in efficient way and you are present, so this is Karma Yoga. When you are driving to your job, if you are present, breathing, observing, do it in the best way you can. That is Karma Yoga. So very important, every time that we are going to do something, we ask ourselves, is this beneficial for everyone and for myself? If the answer is yes, that is Karma Yoga. So here, I would like to describe briefly the meaning of Karma Yoga. So yoga, we know that is unity, to connect with each other, to reconnect with the universe. And karma is action. So any action that helps us to reconnect with ourselves and others, that is Karma Yoga. So for example, if someone doesn't have food and I go and give food to them, this is helping me to reconnect with this human being. So that is Karma Yoga. But imagine that instead of going and give food, I steal the food from someone or I steal their money. This is not making me close to the person. It will make me more far away. So that will not be karma yoga. So every action that brings us closer to each other, that is karma yoga. Is it clear until now? So who should do karma yoga? Which type of personality? We have Bhakti Yoga, emotional people, Jnana Yoga, more mental, intellectual people, and Karma Yoga. Who should do Karma Yoga? This is very important for the ones that are already teachers, yoga teachers. When your student comes to your class, you need to find out, okay, which type of personality. In that way, I can choose which type of yoga. So to whom will you recommend Karma Yoga, Marta?
To selfish people? No.
Wrong. So selfish people, that is nice. They need it.
I don't know. Or not humble people.
Wrong. Susana, to whom? Bájame estas dos luces, porque se me hace sombra acá abajo.
Personas que no son humildes, o no. No sé cómo decirlo.
This is good. I like it.
No,
Someone
ninguno.
else? So for people that they are very egoistic and self-centered, that all the time they are thinking in themselves, it's good to do some karma yoga, some service without expecting anything in return. So also is recommended for people that they have a lot of energy. So for example, in my case, I was suffering from alcoholism and I could be awake for weeks. I could be drinking and party for weeks and weeks and weeks until I was exhausted. I'm a type of person that has a lot of energy. So I need to know how to channel it. Otherwise, it can go into destructive mood. Yeah? So when you see someone that has a lot of energy, always wants to do something, always thinking, always creating projects, you say, hey, you have a lot of energy, and that is good. But you need to focus in something beneficial, not only for ourselves, but for everyone. So we have already 3, and the 4, there is different books and different traditions that they mention about the 4th preliminary. Some books, they call it Hatha Yoga, and others they call it Raja Yoga. So for me personally, I feel more related to call it Hatha Yoga. Why? Because Raja Yoga means the yoga of the kings. Raja, king. So the Raja Yogi is the one that practices the 4 branches of yoga, which is Bhakti, Karma, Jnana, and Hatha Yoga. So Hatha Yoga is the most common and that almost everyone knows about. Right now is super popular. Nevertheless, it's not practiced completely. Our main focus in the present time is more in the physical part. A lot of people, they come to yoga for different reasons. For example, they want to reduce weight, or they want to heal some injury, or they want to be more flexible or stronger. So this is one part of Hatha Yoga, but it's not everything that is about. The practice of Hatha Yoga wants to balance our polarities. So, as you know, all we have female and masculine within ourselves. Doesn't matter if we are men or women. So, how to balance the polarities? This is what is the yoga practice about. Mainly, we are focused in the practicing of asana, pranayama, and a lot of work with our chakras and nadis. One of the main vehicles that we have to balance our polarities is through the breathing, conscious breathing. So the practice of Hatha Yoga speaks about many breathing techniques, many asanas, many positions, many ways to awaken the Kundalini. So we can say that Hatha Yoga covers a little bit of each part and is more inclusive. Because imagine that there is only Bhakti Yoga in the world. Not everyone will practice. Not everyone is interested in Bhakti. ¿Se paró la cámara, Ro? Can you see me? Because I think my camera is frozen. Yes.
It's frozen.
We will reload. 1 minute.
Hola, Ana.
¿Me hablas a mí?
Sí, aprovecho
Ah.
para saludarte.
Ah, vale, es que realmente no nos conocemos en persona, pero nos hemos visto varias veces
Sí,
en estas sesiones.
sí.
Entonces, ¿cómo descubriste el grupo?
Bueno, buscando por internet y así, mira. Y luego resulta que están en un pueblo cerca, al lado del que vivo yo, y están en el pueblo que viven mis padres, pero yo no lo sabía.
Ah, sí. Ah, mira,
Bueno,
pues es que
sí,
estuve
no.
en Navidad, pasando unos días.
Family, I'm back.
Okay.
I was frozen with a crazy face. So, we have the 4 branches of yoga. Patanjali is telling us that in order to bring the mind to the present, before we need to do the preliminaries for a long period of time. Now the question is, how long should it be? For how long we need to practice these 4 branches to bring the mind to the present? How much do you think, Anna?
Depends, no? I don't know.
Depends on what?
It depends on the person, depends on the mood, depends on the day.
You, Susanna, what do you think about? How long or how much do you need to practice in order to make your mind completely steady on the present? Unmute your mic, please.
Por lo menos an hour and a half during the day.
Good. Marta,
I think,
how much?
I don't know, but I think it's just minimum 1 time per day, no? Your sadhana. But
And for how long?
I don't know.
Days, weeks, years?
Forever.
That is the correct, exactly the correct answer. The answer is forever.
Yeah.
The yogis, they realize that most of the people we need to work during our whole life. And why do we need to work for the whole life? Because we are carrying karmas from the past. So imagine, for the last 1,000 lives, I didn't practice any yoga and meditation. And now I want that in 1 month or 6 months or 1 year, I'm enlightened. So everything in life takes steps. So I like what Anna says, that depends, because maybe one person is only one step away from self-realization, from samadhi. So maybe just you need to practice one day and you are there. But other people, for example, I see myself, I have been doing 12, 14 years, and still I have so many steps that I know I will not finish in this life. We need to be honest with ourselves. And we will see it very clear when you are full of energy, full of love, when your mind is completely present, then you have reached. The people that they had reached, they say that at that moment, you don't need to practice anymore. Yeah? There is going to be a moment that we don't need to do any more techniques, no more practice. But until we are there, we need to do. Yeah? And this is for most of the traditions. I only know one tradition that is called Vedanta that says that we don't need to do, that we are already perfect. Just we need to accept it. All the other traditions, more tantric traditions, says, okay, we are perfect, but we don't act like that. So we need to work with ourselves. For how long? Until you reach samadhi, until you reach self-realization. How long will that take? Every person is different. So we need to be honest and continue practicing until we are there. Yeah? And hopefully it doesn't take too long, but if it takes long, we don't need to be worried. Remember, yoga is a journey. We don't need to be thinking in the end. We need to be enjoying every step. Marta says, every day we need to have our sadhana. Every day we need to practice. Every day we need to do it with passion, with love, with dedication. So always I say to the people, if you think that yoga is very easy and that you don't need to practice too much, this is not for you. Yoga is one of the practices that requires more commitment, more dedication, more honesty, more patience. So I really wish that you four here going this way. So remember, we are here in the Yoga Fridays to help you to build your yoga practice. So to have a full practice, you need to incorporate these 4 parts of yoga: Bhakti, Jnana, Karma, and Hatha Yoga. So imagine that every day you do asana, you do breathing, and you meditate, but you don't help anybody. It will be like a chair without one leg. So we need to see if we are distributing our sadhana in the correct way, if we are giving some time for each part. So to sit and meditate, very easy. To do yoga postures and breathing, also easy. Bhakti Yoga, there are so many Bhakti circles and singing everywhere. And Karma Yoga, just you need to help someone, yeah? And helping maybe could be something small, maybe making a phone call to someone to give some support or to tell them that we love them, or maybe just to listen to someone, or to go to some organization to help. We need to find some way to serve in the world. And of course, we need to be served. This is balance. But most of the human beings, only we think about being served. And we don't serve too much. So we need to give some of our time. This especially for business people, always they are thinking how to make money. If you don't make money, then it's a waste of time. Yoga is telling us there is time for making money and there is time to do service and don't receive anything for your work. So we have the 4 preliminaries to bring the mind to the present moment. Remember the first sutra, Hatha, Yoga, Anushasanam. Yoga begins here and now, therefore, yoga begins. Aquí y ahora, después de, el yoga comienza. So this is super important instruction. If we are not here and now, we cannot practice yoga. So imagine that you are in your house or in your yoga studio for 1 hour or 1 hour and a half, and you are there doing very nice positions, but at the same time, I'm thinking what I'm going to eat after, I'm going to visit my friends, my wife is waiting for me at home. So then we are not practicing yoga, just we are twisting the body and stretching the arms, which is okay. Also, we need to stretch the arms, but this is not yoga. Yoga is to stretch the arms while I'm present, while I'm feeling all my muscles, when I'm observing if there is any thought, to observe my energy. So this is the first instruction that we receive from Patanjali, Hatha Yoga Anushasanam. So let's go for the second sutra of Patanjali that works with the mind. Can you repeat, Martha? You told me at the beginning the sutra.
I don't remind the order. Chitta, Vritti, Nirodha.
Almost there.
Ah! Chitta.
So, if you ask what does yoga means, every person will give you a different definition. If we ask Patanjali, imagine a few thousand years ago, you come with the Guru Patanjali and says, my Guru, which is the meaning of yoga? Patanjali will tell you, yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha.
Nirodha.
So what does yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha means? Yoga, already we know that means unity, connection, reconnection, recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go word by word. What does chitta means? Does someone knows the meaning of chitta? Susana?
Mente.
Excellent. So Susana is telling us that is the mind. So here we need to be precautious because the mind for Patanjali is a little bit different than the mind that we know in the West. So for Patanjali, the mind is made of different parts. Normally here in the West, we say, okay, we have the mind and the mind is one. And Patanjali says, okay, the mind has different aspects. So now we will practice a little bit of Myanna Yoga. I want you to tell me each one of you one different part of the mind. So let's start with Martha. Tell me one of the parts of the mind that you experience in your life. If someone wants to help Martha, you can do it also. So just observe your mind in your daily life. Which parts does it have? Or is only one part?
No, the right hemisphere. That no.
Illusions.
Ah, vale, a nivel de yoga, vale.
Dreams.
So I will give you, I don't know if it happens to you sometimes. Imagine that it's already 10 or 11 in the night. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And you go to the kitchen and see some food. Already is late and you know that you should not eat. It's not good to eat at 10, 11, 12 in the night. So then you stand up in front of the fridge and start thinking. So one part of your mind says, doesn't matter if it's late, go and eat. You are hungry, eat whatever you want. And there is another part of the mind that says, hey, better don't eat. Tomorrow in the breakfast, you can eat whatever you want. But right now, better to go to bed without food in the stomach. Does it happen to any of you sometimes? Yes, good. To me, it happens very often. So we can see that we have a division in our mind. This, we can take some support from the beautiful Bible. In the Bible, they talk about paradise and hell, talks about angels and demons. In the Bible and in the yogic texts, this I like from Paramahansa Yogananda. He says that is the representation of our minds. We have one angel in one shoulder, and we have the devil in the other shoulder. One is telling us to do good things, the other doesn't care about anybody. So the 4 parts of the mind, according Patanjali, we have chitta, we have buddhi, we have ahamkara, and we have manas. So let's see which part is each one. So the first part is called chitta. So imagine same example of the food. You are sitting in your couch or in your living room and you get information from the mind, goes through the senses to the brain and tell you, you are hungry, you need to eat. Yeah? Normally we are sitting there, nothing is going on, and then you get some signal. Go to eat, go to eat, go to eat, go to eat. So this voice is chitta. Yeah? It's not telling you what to eat. It's just speaking about your basic instincts, your needs. So for example, we need shelter, we need water, we need food. So chitta is telling you, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I am cold, I am hot. Yeah? Then there is 2 parts, ahamkara, the ego. So imagine when chitta says, I am hungry, then ahamkara, the ego, answers, okay, go and eat anything that you want. The best thing you can eat is 5 hamburgers from McDonald's and 2 liters of Coca-Cola with some French fries and ice cream. And it's true, if you eat all that, you will not feel hungry. And ahamkara doesn't mean that it's bad, but it doesn't have the capacity to analyze what happens after. What happens after I eat the 5 hamburgers, the 2 liters of Coca-Cola, the ice cream and French fry? I will feel sick, I will vomit, my energy will go down, I will gain weight. Ahamkara doesn't have the capacity to analyze, to understand to the future. It's only seeking for momentary pleasures, momentary satisfaction. So please, because a lot of people, they are angry or they are against the ego, against ahamkara, but ahamkara is not bad. Just doesn't have the capacity to understand what happens after. Imagine that you are angry with your ears because they cannot see. The ears are meant only to listen. Ears cannot see, cannot smell, cannot taste. Ears listen. So ego, ahamkara, is very limited. It can think only momentary pleasure. It's only capacity. Doesn't think about the others, if it's beneficial for the others, for me. It cannot analyze that. For doing that, we have the beautiful buddhi. Buddhi in the modern psychology is known as the higher mind. Also, they call it the supermind. They call it also the superego. So in yoga tradition, we call it the enlightened mind. So buddhi, after Chitta says, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, then buddhi start thinking and analyze faster than the light if it's beneficial for us and for the others. So for example, you get hungry. Chitta is telling you, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. Then buddhi answers, if you are hungry, you can eat vegetables, you can eat fruits, you can eat rice, you can drink juices, because this is beneficial for ourselves, not only now, but for the future. We want food that gives us prana for our life. We want to be healthy to have a better future. So this is the part of our mind that is called buddhi. We can call that is the angel in one of our shoulders. So if it happens that sometimes you have some conflict, sometimes I want to do something, but I know that it's not beneficial for me, then there is a fight between buddhi and ahankara, between the higher mind and the ego. So who wins this fight? In most of the human beings, the ego wins. Why does the ego wins and not the higher mind? Can someone tell me, please?
Manas.
Why, Anna? Why the ego wins for most of the people?
To the balance with the energy, with pranayama, no, for example.
I don't know, is it stronger in energy? I don't know.
¿Por qué normalmente gana el ego y no la mente iluminada? Why does the ego wins the battle and not the higher mind?
Because it requires less energy or something like that? It's something related with the energy levels. I don't know.
Porque estamos muy conectados con el cuerpo físico.
Good, this is good answer. I like it.
Manamaya question.
Let's put a simple example. Imagine there is a person that every day since the last 30 or 40 years is training to run the marathon. Yeah, every day training and training and training. And there is another person that never trained for marathon. Then the competition starts. Who do you think that will win the marathon? The person that trained or the person that didn't train?
The person
Who
that
wins?
trained. The person that trained.
This is the only difference. If you train, you improve yourself and you are better in whatever you do. So the ego, we are training every day since we are kids, non-stop. Our whole life and the whole society is meant to train the ego, how to be more successful, how to achieve things, how to be the best. Imagine when you are in the school, every time there is less and less students because some of them, they are not smart enough, they don't study enough. Everything is competition. We have in the television, football is about competition, swimming about competition, the movie stars, competition, everything is competition. We are training the ego. We seek for pleasure. We want the best food, the best drink, the most expensive cars, the most expensive houses. So, on the other hand, the self, the emotions, the heart, the love, we don't train every day. Of course, there are people, for example, that they live in ashrams, in monasteries. They are serving and they are more connected with the heart. But we are talking about normal people, yeah? Normal people, they don't have trained in emotions, they don't have trained to be present, they don't have trained to breathe correctly. We are trained for ego purpose. That's why the ego wins in many times, many occasions. So which is the solution? The solution, there is only one, and it's called sadhana, which is called self-practice. That's why we have this Yoga Friday. Our main intention is to help you to practice yoga, to train yourself. Then when the moment of fight comes, it's very easy to say no. And this, I can give you example from my daily life. When I was about 20 years old, I had this obsession to go to drink every day. It was very strong. I cannot fight. Many times I didn't want to drink, but this, it was stronger than me. Now, how the thing changed after 10, 12, 14 years of practicing yoga, if there is some negative thought, I can say, no, I don't want that. I don't want that for my life. I don't want to lose my money. I don't want to lose the trust of my family. I don't want to lose my wife. I don't want to get fatter of what I am. So now I have the strength to say no. Yeah? And this is not because I'm very strong or I'm special. It's only because I was practicing and training. So this is very important part of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Patanjali mentions very important word that is abhyasa. Abhyasa means constant practice. Why the yogis, why the gurus, they are giving us this instruction? Because they know that we need to train ourselves. So we talk about three parts of the mind, chitta, buddhi, ahamkara, and one is missing, manas. Can someone tell me which is the fourth part of the mind, please? So we have the angel, the devil, the voice, chitta, and what is missing?
Dreams, illusions.
These are the British. Still, we are not there. We are coming to the British. So manas. For the British, to understand what is manas is very simple. Manas is the scenario where the mind talks. So when there is confrontation between the angel and the devil, where is it happening? Where do you think? Normally we say, okay, I think in the mind. But Patanjali says that place where you think is called manas, is the place where chitta, buddhi, and ahamkara exist. Yeah? So for example, it could be, to understand it more, when you go to the cinema, you watch the television in the screen, yeah? You cannot watch the movie if there is not a screen. So we have a mental screen. This mental screen is called manas. Also, we can call it chidakash or chitta akash. That is the mental plane. The mind exists somewhere. maybe we cannot point it with the finger, where is the mind? But the mind exists. Yeah? All agree with that? That we have minds and we think? So where does the thinking process happens? In manas. Also it's called the battlefield. So is it clear, the meaning of manas? So close your eyes for a moment and think whatever you want to think. Something positive, beautiful. Maybe you can imagine some nice forest or the ocean, some trees. So that place where you are imagining is called manas. And of course, manas is one part of the mind. Good, you can open your eyes. Don't go into samadhi, please. So let's continue. We say second sutra, yoga, chitta, vritti, niruddha. We define already the meaning of yoga, the meaning of chitta, the mind, the four parts, and vritti. So we are coming to very important parts of the yoga practice. We need to understand clearly what the vrittis are. So Susanna, you mentioned before a little bit about the vrittis.
The thoughts, los pensamientos perturbadores.
So vrittis, we have 5 vrittis. Normally we say, okay, the mind thinks, and we don't think more about it. But Patanjali is telling us that the mind has different way of thinking, not only one. So there is 5 vrittis, 5 modifications or movements of the mind, 5 ways that the mind thinks. So we have the first way that the mind thinks, that is called correct knowledge. So what does correct knowledge is? Let's find out. Anna, can you tell me please, how old are you?
30.
Where were you born?
Logroño.
Logroño. Good. So now let's ask Anna. You are a Myanna yogi and you ask yourself, who am I? Will your answer will be Anna, 30 years old from Logroño, or something else?
The short
Because your
answer is-
document, if I check your national document, says Anna, 30 years old from Logroño. She's there and here is a picture. She's that. Are we that or we are something else?
Well, that's a part. That's the data from you.
Exactly. The data is what society is telling us that we are. For example, me, I am a man, I'm Mexican, almost 40 years old, and so on. This is only part of the story. Society is not telling me you are also energies and you are consciousness and you are eternal, you are love. So everything that we think that is correct knowledge, it is not, because it's incomplete, yeah? And every knowledge that is incomplete is a vritti. So this is one way that the mind thinks. With all the correct knowledge that you have, imagine all the correct things that you think, Patanjali says they are not 100% correct because they are incomplete. So we have the second type of vritti, wrong knowledge. So wrong knowledge is very dangerous, especially when we think that is correct knowledge. So imagine today I'm talking about yoga with you and I give you some misinformation and you keep passing to your friends, to your students, and generation after generation. And we realize someday that that knowledge is incorrect, that is not true. So for example, if we go back in time, not so long time ago, and even in the present time, there is not 100% equality in human beings. It's not the same from being from Europe than from Africa than from America. Also, not the same rights to be men and women. And why do we have all this information? Because society gives us that in legacy, all that incorrect information that we keep repeating and repeating and repeating. So Patanjali is telling us, you need to be aware of your vrittis, the way that you think, because maybe most of your thinking is incorrect. So many times, for example, we think that I should do something. For example, I was trained, I was studying more for business and companies and accounting, all these things. I was trained for that. That is the information that I get from society until I realized that that is wrong information for me. For me, it's not good to work on that. I will never be happy if I do that. Maybe some people, yes, but for me, it was wrong knowledge. But I need to inquire in myself, to be brave, to start writing what I like, what I should do. So we are going deeper into the vrittis. The first one is the right knowledge that is incomplete. We have wrong knowledge, and then we have all the memories. Yeah, every time that you remember something is a vritti, something that happens to you when you were kids, but now when we are adults, we have some trauma and pain from something that happened 20, 30, 50 years ago. So this is a vritti, to be in constant remembering of the past. 4 types of vritti. So this one is very important to understand. Remember, what we want is to bring consciousness to our lives. So every time that we are not conscious, that is a vritti. So the 4th vritti is called nikalpa. And this one is when you go to sleep. Imagine at night, you go to the bed and you are tired and just you want to close the eyes, not remember anything, and next day to wake up. Yeah? Am I right? Is the way that we sleep, human beings. Just go to bed and hopefully you don't wake up during the night, you don't remember anything, and then you wake up, a new day. So for Patanjali, this is a vritti. The yogis, we need to go to bed and only the body and the mind go to sleep to rest. But our consciousness, our awareness needs to remain present during the whole night. All the whole night, you need to be present, hearing the sounds around, recognizing and realizing that you are a beautiful being, that you are the self. Instead of that, just we pass out, sleep, and we don't remember anything. So this is the 4th type of vritti. And the 5th, someone knows which is the 5th? So the last vritti, Susana?
No son illusions, dreams, no? Illusions?
Imagination.
Imagination.
Imagination about the future. So every time that we are imagining the future, we are not present, we are not centered, and we are not in connection with ourselves. So Patanjali is telling us, you need to practice the 4 preliminaries. Again, I repeat, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Hatha Yoga, and the last one, Myanna Yoga, Karma Yoga. Repeat, please, to see if you remember the 4.
Bhakti, Nyaga, Karma,
Tell me,
and Hatha.
Bhakti,
Nyaga,
Karma, Jnana, and Hatha. If we practice these 4 preliminaries for a long period of time, the vrittis, they will lose their power and the mind will be completely focused and present. We cannot stop the vrittis directly. They are too powerful, they are too strong. So many wishes, desires, memories, past traumas. It's a lot. Imagine that we are carrying like a mountain in our back. So slowly, slowly with the practice, we start removing weight, removing weight, removing weight. And then you start getting some moments of being present. I'm sure that all the ones we are here, we have some moments of really being present. Not everyone, they can experience that. A lot of people always in the vrittis, 24 hours in the vrittis. We are very lucky if once in a while we can be really present. So this is the purpose of Patanjali. Remember, yoga, chitta, vritti, and finally, nirodha. Nirodha is that state where the mind is completely relaxed and focused on the present moment. And not only that, is focused on serving, on doing things for benefit of others and for ourselves. So we can say that Nirodha is a synonymous of Samadhi, of an enlightened mind. And who has an enlightened mind? The one that can be really present, that can be relaxed and enjoying every moment of life. We don't need to do big things. What we need to do is being present. Every small thing that I do it present with awareness, breathing, feeling, and we go one by one, one by one, one by one. This is an enlightened mind for Patanjali. So the third sutra says, after reaching the state of Nirodha, we have reached our true essence. So our essence is not to be thinking all the time. It seems that it's very normal, but if you ask a yogi, they will say that that is craziness. It's not normal to be thinking all the time. It's not normal not to be able to stop the mind. We need to decide when to use the mind and when not to use it. Imagine that it's like a telephone. Okay, now I use my telephone and now I don't want to use it. The same with the mind. Of course, the mind is beneficial for many things. Any project that we want to create, we need to use the mind. But we need to have the capacity to say, okay, now it's enough of mind, let's rest and only breathe and be present and relax. So this is the main purpose of Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali, to bring the mind to the present moment, to calm, to relax yourself, to be peaceful, to enjoy the simplicity of life. And I would like to close today's practice. We were talking all the time, so normally we do more practice and at the end, questions and answers. If you have any question, you can ask, and after we will close with a short meditation, and then we say goodbye in silence, as is what we want today. We want more interiorization, more calmness. So, few minutes, if someone has any question about the relation between yoga and the mind and how to work with it.
I have a question, but it might
All
be
clear?
very basic. What is a sutra?
Can you repeat that?
I have a question, but it can be very basic. But what is a sutra?
What is what? I cannot hear
A
you.
sutra.
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 Sutra is an instruction.
Ah.
So imagine you have your cookbook, how to cook vegetarian lasagna. So step one, go to the supermarket to buy the ingredients. Second step, wash your ingredients, wash your vegetables, wash what you are going to put in the lasagna. Third, cut the vegetables. Fourth, organize in the pot everything. Fifth step, put it into the oven. Sixth step, eat it. Yeah? So everyone that follows the cookbook can make a lasagna. The same with the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. The sutras are instruction one by one on how to become the best version of ourselves, how to be healthier, how to be happy. And there is 196 steps. The good thing for me personally, I like always to read only the first 3 sutras, because if you practice the first 3 sutras, then the 196 happen by itself. If you are really present, you have your sadhana, you do your yoga, your meditation, the next steps happens. So this is what I like from yoga, that is a science and follows a method. It's not because me, David, says that this works. No, it's proven, and millions of people, they went through the process, and after doing the tools and techniques, they feel in the same way. For example, if you do Nadi Shodhana for a long period of time, the mind becomes more peaceful. There is scientific proof of that. They size the brain waves, they can check it. So that's why we share here tools and techniques to help you to build your yoga practice, but that is not the main goal. Remember, yoga is only the vehicle that takes us to our natural state, that is called samadhi. So the yogi says that when we are in samadhi, we don't need any more the tools. But until we reach that, we need to practice. Yeah? So let's raise the hand, the ones that we are going to practice some type of yoga during the week, please. Eugenia, ¿vas a practicar algo de yoga en la semana? Bien. Good. This is nice commitment to do it in group. And let's close today's practice with a short meditation, and after we say goodbye in silence, let's try to really interiorize ourselves, to really feel what we were talking about. Find a comfortable, steady position. Remember, your chest open, shoulders relaxed, the chin parallel to the ground, legs relax, heavy on the ground too. Spine straight. Place your body in its meditation posture. We will try not to move the body. Imagine that you are a statue, like Buddha meditating. your body completely steady and relaxed. And remember, today our focus is about the mind, its mysteries, and how it works. So let's try to observe, to be aware of the many vrittis, the fluctuations of the mind happening one after other. Observe if you are thinking, if you are remembering the past, if you are imagining the future, or maybe you are totally present. Try to come back to this moment. And we do that by simply observing the mind. The same like you observe the sky. Maybe there are clouds passing by, but then they dissolve and the sun shines again. The sun is your consciousness, your awareness, your true essence. Remember, Hatha, Yoga, Anushasanam. Here and now, the yoga begins. By becoming present, you access the yoga benefits. One of the main ones is to feel connected with yourself and with others, to feel connected with nature, with the universe, with the people, connected with your body, your emotions, your energy, your passion. So simply breathe into the present and let that the vrittis lose their power, their strength. We are not controlling, we are not suppressing the vrittis. We are only looking at them passing by, like the clouds in the sky. The light of observation dissolves the vrittis, the clouds, and then you can look directly to the sun. The sun represents your true self. It represents your inner power, your inner wisdom, your love, your strength. Visualize yourself as a shining light, shining brightly, sharing your light to all the beings, in all the places. Share your heart, your love. And we can serve better if we are really present, observing what does it needs to be done. How can I serve my brothers and sisters? How can I serve the world where I live? And of course, how can I serve myself to be better every day? So let's keep a moment of silence. Here, the present only. Hear your heart beating. And now that we are more present, we can keep going with our lives. Let's take a deep inhalation, bring the hands into your heart. And let's close today's practice with one long Om, followed by Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Inhale deeply. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So today we are going to say goodbye in a different way. Always we do it with words. Remember, the words comes from the mind. If it comes from the mind, it's a vritti. And today we want to stop the vrittis. Therefore, let's not to use words to say goodbye. Let's just to bow into each other with this gesture, namaste. Remember, namaste is where I recognize the divinity in the other, and I recognize the divinity in myself. To do this is necessary to be present, to be relaxed, to be with an open heart. So this is my wish to all of you. Thank you to the people that were here live with us, and also thank you to all the ones that they will see later, the replay. I really wish that this session, these 10 episodes of Yoga Fridays help you to be more relaxed, more present, and especially one step closer to practice yoga by yourself. This is my wish for your week. Have an amazing one. Thank you, everyone. Om.